something has shifted, not out there, but within you. The heavens have rearranged themselves in response to your faith. The very moment you chose to believe, divine order began to move. Invisible forces aligned, conversations began to unfold, hearts began to open, and doors that once refused to budge started unlocking quietly in the background. You may not see it yet, but everything is moving, and it's moving in your favor. What you have been praying for, what you have been holding in your heart, is not coming someday. It is already here, seeking the right moment to reveal itself. The universe works with perfect timing, not delay. The pause was never punishment, it was preparation. God was not ignoring you, He was organizing everything around you. What looked like stillness was strategy. You are now standing in the vibration of answered prayer. Every challenge that stretched you, every season that tested you, every no that broke you, they were all instruments tuning your spirit to the frequency of your blessing. You could not receive what you were not ready to hold. And now the readiness within you has called forth divine movement around you. The shift has already occurred. Life is responding to your new state of being. When you stop asking when and start knowing now, everything changes. Creation listens to conviction. The moment you feel the fulfillment of your desire, the outer world begins to mirror it. You don't have to chase what's yours. What's yours is already magnetized to your belief. Let go of the anxiety of waiting. Release the idea that you must earn what grace has already prepared. You are not stepping into favor. You are awakening to the favor that has always surrounded you. God just rearranged everything to position you in the right place, at the right time, with the right people. The shift is not coming, it's here. The evidence may not yet be visible, but the outcome is already certain. So lift your head, expect the unexpected, walk as if the promise is fulfilled, speak as if the blessing has already manifested. Feel it, embody it, live it, for this is the language of creation. Gratitude is your signal of arrival. Give thanks now, and heaven will echo it in the form of tangible results. God just moved everything in your favor. The delays have been reversed, the detours redirected, the denials dissolved. The door that once said closed now whispers, welcome. The favor surrounding you is no longer waiting for the perfect moment. It has become the moment. Get ready to receive. Your season of manifestation has already begun. The invisible shift has already happened. Long before you see evidence, long before you can touch or measure it, the transformation has taken place in the unseen. Every time you choose to believe, every time you release doubt and embrace faith, a rearrangement begins in the realm beyond sight. The world you perceive is only a reflection of your inner state, a mirror of consciousness slowly adjusting to match what you have accepted as true. What you call waiting is simply your mind catching up with what your spirit already knows, that the prayer has been answered, the desire has been fulfilled, and the promise has been completed. The greatest illusion in life is the belief that manifestation happens in time. In truth, it happens in consciousness. The very instant you assume the feeling of the fulfilled desire, reality bends to accommodate that assumption. You are not waiting for change. Change is waiting for you to recognize it. Every delay is perception, not divine hesitation. The moment you believe, heaven moves. Angels of alignment begin their silent work. People are prompted, doors begin to prepare, opportunities are stirred, And life itself reshapes around your inner conviction. The invisible shift is the real event. What follows in the physical world is simply its echo. Most people miss this moment because they are looking for proof instead of living from faith. They ask, when will it come? Not realizing that it has already arrived in a higher dimension. The universe doesn't work in the language of time, but in the language of vibration. When your frequency matches your fulfillment, the outer world can no longer deny you. You will meet divine coincidences, perfect timings, and unexplainable favor that seem sudden but were set in motion long ago, the very instant you believed. Understand this deeply. You are not creating your desire, you are aligning with what already is. The unseen world is complete. The invisible structure of your miracle is fully formed, awaiting your awareness to call it forth. To wait in doubt is to delay it. To rest in faith is to draw it near. This is why peace is so powerful. It signals completion. When you stop striving, you enter the flow of divine timing. You begin to live from the end, trusting that what you imagined has already solidified in spirit. So stop saying nothing is happening. Everything is happening. The invisible shift is the birthplace of every blessing. It is where the unseen becomes seen, where the promise transforms into presence. Do not confuse the silence of the unseen with the absence of movement. The silence is sacred. It's where creation is at work. The moment you believed, something eternal began unfolding on your behalf. You don't have to force it. You only have to align with it. The shift has already occurred. Reality is just catching up to your faith. To assume the feeling of fulfillment is to step into the end before it appears. It is to claim emotionally what you have not yet received physically, knowing that creation begins within. The universe does not respond to your words alone. It responds to the vibration behind them, the emotion you radiate when you believe something is already yours. Desire without feeling is an empty wish, but desire infused with the emotion of fulfillment becomes creative power. You must feel now what you once hoped for emotion is the bridge between desire and manifestation. When you live as though the desire has already been fulfilled, you begin to shift from asking to receiving. Your heart stops pleading for what it already possesses, and your spirit begins to rest in gratitude. That inner rest is the true evidence of faith. It is the moment when you are no longer trying to make something happen, because in consciousness it has already happened. Emotion carries your belief into the unseen realm and anchors it there. It tells creation, this is real. The more vividly and consistently you can feel that reality, the faster your outer world aligns with it. Every great change begins with a shift in inner feeling. If you want love, feel love now. If you want success, feel successful now. If you want healing, feel whole now. The outer world must conform to the state you persist in inwardly. It cannot resist the vibration of a fully embodied assumption. Life mirrors emotion, not effort. You can speak affirmations for hours, but if your heart still feels empty, you are only repeating words. It is feeling that gives life to thought. Assuming the feeling of fulfillment requires imagination, the ability to live in the unseen as though it were seen. Close your eyes and step into the end of your desire. How does it feel to have it now? What peace fills your heart? What joy moves through you? What gratitude rises naturally as you live from that state? The more real that inner world becomes to you, the more reality must reflect it. This is not pretending or daydreaming, it is a spiritual law. You are training your consciousness to vibrate at the frequency of completion. The moment you sustain that feeling long enough, something powerful happens, resistance disappears. You no longer wonder when it will come or how it will happen, you simply know. You walk through life as someone who already has the answer. You speak differently, move differently, and think differently. The outer world, sensing your inner certainty, begins to rearrange itself in your favor. The people, opportunities, and circumstances that match your feeling of fulfillment are drawn to you effortlessly. To assume the feeling of fulfillment is to merge with your desire now. It is to live in the joy of the answered prayer before your eyes can see it. This is the secret of manifestation. Not to wait for proof, but to feel the proof within. When you do, your world cannot help but echo that feeling in form. Faith is seeing beyond evidence. It is the ability to look at stillness and know that movement exists beneath it. When everything appears unchanged, faith whispers, something is happening. It refuses to be deceived by appearances, for it understands that what is visible is only the shadow of what is being formed in the unseen. Faith is the sight of the soul, the inner vision that perceives divine order at work when human eyes see nothing. To live by faith is to trust the unseen realm more than the visible one, knowing that creation begins invisibly before it takes shape in form. When everything looks still, trust that movement has already begun. Life is not idle, it is intelligent. God never sleeps. While you wait, the invisible world is busy rearranging circumstances, influencing hearts, and aligning paths that you could not have orchestrated on your own. Just because you can't measure progress doesn't mean there is none. The seed grows in darkness before it ever breaks the surface. The roots form underground before the tree appears above it. Faith knows this and rests in that knowing. It doesn't panic in delay because it understands that silence is not absence, it is preparation. Faith is not the denial of reality, it is the recognition of a greater reality. It doesn't close its eyes to problems but opens them to divine possibilities. To walk by faith is to choose trust over fear, peace over doubt, and vision over sight. The mind wants evidence, it demands to see the outcome before it believes. But faith reverses this order. It believes first, and the evidence follows. The world calls it foolishness, heaven calls it power, but you believe in the unseen eventually becomes seen, for faith gives form to the invisible. The challenge is to remain steady when nothing seems to move. That is where most give up right before the breakthrough. Yet faith endures because it knows that divine timing is never rushed, but always perfect. Even when doors appear closed, faith sees the hidden hand turning the key. Even when opportunities fade, faith senses new ones being prepared. It is the quiet confidence that says, I may not see it, but I know it's coming. And that knowing becomes the magnet that draws the unseen into visibility. Faith is the creative force behind all manifestation. Every answered prayer, every fulfilled dream, every miracle that ever appeared began with someone believing before seeing. The outer world cannot resist a heart anchored in unwavering trust. So when you find yourself surrounded by silence, when nothing seems to shift, remind yourself that the movement has already begun. The current beneath the surface is strong and it is carrying your desire toward you. Do not doubt the process just because you can't trace it. The unseen realm is already working in your favor. Faith is not waiting for proof. Faith is the proof. Divine order is always at work, silently and precisely rearranging the pieces of your life. You may not see it, you may not understand it, but every delay, every redirection, and every closed door is a movement of perfect alignment. God doesn't need to create new opportunities for you. Everything you need already exists. What he does is reposition what's already there so it can meet you at the point of your readiness. Life is not random, it's orchestrated. Every connection, every encounter, every apparent detour serves a purpose in the grand pattern of divine timing. There are moments when you may feel forgotten, when doors that once seemed open suddenly shut. You may think things are falling apart, but in truth, they are falling into place. The path you thought was lost is being restructured to guide you to something greater. Divine order never wastes a moment. It uses everything, your mistakes, your waiting seasons, even your disappointments, to refine you and prepare the stage for fulfillment. The universe does not need to bring something entirely new into existence for your breakthrough. It simply shifts existing elements into divine alignment. Imagine the pieces of your life as stars in a vast sky. At first, they may appear scattered and disconnected, but as time unfolds, those same stars begin to align into a constellation that forms the picture of your destiny. That is divine order at work, transforming chaos into clarity. God's movement is subtle yet powerful. You don't hear the sound of the earth turning, but it turns. In the same way, you may not perceive the rearrangement happening behind the scenes, yet your entire reality is being recalibrated to match your vibration of faith. Readiness is the key. God will never send what you are not prepared to sustain. So instead of forcing outcomes, your task is to align inwardly. As you grow in awareness, peace, and faith, the external circumstances respond automatically. Opportunities that once seemed unavailable begin to find their way to you. People are guided into your life at the precise moment you need them. Resources that once felt distant suddenly appear effortlessly. As if nothing new was created, only repositioned. This is why surrender is so powerful. When you trust divine order, you stop chasing and start allowing. You stop trying to control outcomes and begin to cooperate with the flow. Divine order cannot be rushed, but it can be trusted. Every apparent setback carries the seed of perfect timing. What you thought was rejection was simply redirection. What you assumed was loss was an exchange. God moving something away so something better could arrive. Divine order is not delayed, it is deliberate. The hand of God is quietly arranging every detail, placing you exactly where you need to be. So rest in assurance. Nothing has been lost, only repositioned. The alignment has begun, and the moment your readiness matches the promise, everything will fall into place effortlessly, exactly as it was always meant to. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in creation. It is more than a polite response to blessings. It is a state of consciousness that aligns you with divine flow. The heart that gives thanks before receiving declares, I already have it in spirit. Gratitude is faith expressed as emotion. When you give thanks for what you cannot yet see, you bridge the gap between desire and manifestation. You are no longer reaching for something outside of you. You are recognizing that it already exists in the unseen, and that awareness draws it into visibility. To live in gratitude is to live in constant agreement with abundance. It signals to the universe that you trust the process, that you believe everything working behind the scenes is already complete. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to fulfillment, from waiting to receiving. You cannot hold both complaint and creation in the same heart. One closes doors, the other opens them. When you choose gratitude before evidence, you magnetize miracles because you vibrate at the frequency of completion. You are saying to life, it is done, and life responds by showing you it is. Most people give thanks after the blessing arrives, but true spiritual power is found in thanking before it appears. That is the language of faith. It is easy to be grateful when the manifestation is visible, but it takes divine confidence to thank God in the silence, to smile in the unseen, to rejoice in the invisible. That is the moment heaven moves. Gratitude transforms energy. It turns waiting into worship and expectation into attraction. Every thank you released from your heart is a signal of readiness, a vibration that tells creation, I am open to receive. When you practice gratitude daily, you change your entire atmosphere. Fear dissolves, worry loses power, and peace takes over. You begin to see blessings in what once felt like burdens. You notice small signs of alignment that others overlook. Gratitude awakens spiritual sight. It reveals the hidden order behind what appears chaotic. It helps you recognize that every delay, every challenge, even every closed door carries a purpose for your unfolding. Gratitude turns even disappointment into divine preparation. The moment you begin to give thanks, your energy expands, you stop chasing and start attracting. You begin to meet the right people, stumble upon divine opportunities, and witness synchronicities that confirm your faith. The world mirrors the gratitude you hold within. If you are thankful, the universe gives you more to be thankful for. Gratitude is not just appreciation, it is creation. It multiplies what you honor. So begin now. Give thanks not only for what has happened, but for what is on its way. Thank God for the unseen blessings already forming in your favor. Feel the joy of fulfillment before your eyes can see it. The grateful heart lives in a constant state of reception, for it has already declared abundance real. Gratitude doesn't wait for miracles, it invites them. It is the spiritual magnet that draws heaven into your now. You are the vessel of favor. It is not something outside of you that you must chase or earn. It is the divine current that flows through your being. Favor begins in consciousness, not circumstance. When your awareness expands, your capacity to receive increases. The limitation has never been in what God can give, but in what you are willing to believe yourself worthy of receiving. You do not need to pursue favor, you need to awaken to it. It already surrounds you, waiting for your recognition. Every experience of grace, every unexpected blessing, every moment of divine timing is not random. It is a reflection of your inner state. Life mirrors your consciousness. When you see yourself as chosen, doors open. When you feel unworthy, blessings seem distant. The energy of favor cannot flow through a heart burdened by doubt or fear. It flows through faith, gratitude, and awareness. As you lift your thoughts from lack to abundance, from struggle to sufficiency, you become a channel for divine favor to express itself. through every area of your life. You are not meant to strive endlessly for opportunities, you are meant to align with them. Favor does not follow effort, it follows awareness. When you walk in the knowing that you are already favored, you begin to attract experiences that confirm it. People sense it. Situations adjust to accommodate it. The universe recognizes the vibration of someone who knows who they are in spirit, one who understands that divine favor is their natural inheritance. This is why self-perception is spiritual power. How you see yourself determines what you allow yourself to experience. If you believe you are surrounded by favor, life will continuously reveal proof of it. When you expect favor, you find yourself in the right place at the right time without effort. Synchronicities become normal, miracles become familiar. What others call coincidence, you will recognize as confirmation. Expansion happens within first. You cannot receive beyond the level of your belief. The moment you expand your awareness to see yourself as blessed, guided, and worthy, the flow of favor increases proportionally. You begin to understand that favor is not limited by economy, environment, or opportunity. It is spiritual, not circumstantial. Even in places of limitation, favor creates pathways. Even in seasons of delay, favor rearranges timing. It does not depend on external permission, it depends on your internal recognition. So stop striving to make things happen and start allowing them to unfold. Live as though favor is already flowing, because it is. Speak as one who expects divine assistance. Move as one guided by unseen support. The more you acknowledge favor, the more visible it becomes. The divine is not withholding anything from you. It is waiting for you to realize that you are the vessel through which blessings flow. As you expand your awareness, you expand your world. Favor is not coming, it is already within you, waiting to be expressed through your awakened consciousness. Everything you've walked through, every delay, every moment of uncertainty has been leading to this realization that nothing was ever missing and nothing was ever denied. The shift has already happened. Divine order has been silently arranging everything in your favor. You are no longer waiting for a breakthrough. You are standing in the vibration of one. What once felt distant is now near, and what once felt impossible is unfolding before you. God wants you to feel it. God wants you to feel the invisible realm has already answered your faith, and now the visible world is catching up to your belief. You have learned that the true work was never about striving, but about surrendering. It was about assuming the feeling of fulfillment, trusting beyond evidence, and walking in gratitude before the blessing arrived. It was about knowing that God didn't have to create new opportunities. He simply had to reposition what was already yours. You are the vessel of favor, designed to receive, radiate, and multiply divine blessings. The moment you expand your awareness, you expand your reality. So as you leave this space of reflection and revelation, walk as one who already has it. Speak with assurance, live with expectancy, and move with peace. The divine has moved everything in your favor. Your only task now is to receive it with joy. Stay thankful, stay conscious, and stay aligned with the truth that you are already favored, already chosen, already complete. Thank you for being here, for opening your heart to these truths, and for allowing this message to awaken something deeper within you. May you carry this awareness into every area of your life, and may everything you touch reflect the divine favor that already surrounds you. Thank you, and get ready. Your time of receiving has begun.